Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank y'all for coming. I'm just here to introduce Homer. This is Homer Haycock. He is our Director of Public Safety and Transportation. So I've provided a few things that I know you all have asked or have been brought to my attention to go over, and then like Hannah mentioned, we'll turn it over for some Q&A and go from there. So thank y'all for being here, and thank you, Homer, for being here, and I will turn it over now.
Morning, everybody. Everybody hear me okay? They tell me I really don't need one of these microphones. I'm so loud usually. So that's where we are. I am Homer Haycock. I'm your Director of Public Safety and Support Services, which includes your Transportation Department. We've been talking with some of the residents and some of the staff here over the past couple of weeks. Then we decided it was time for us to have a little chat so you could ask questions if you had them. And we could just talk about general things. Some of the things that have changed in the past couple of weeks. We now have the shuttle running for your lunchtime and supper time and breakfast abilities to go backwards and forth to different venues on the campus and everything. So that seems to be working good. I will encourage you to ride it a little more. Our ridership is not kind of where I want it to be. I'd love to see more people transporting backwards and forth and enjoying both campuses. We have a lot to offer at both campuses. So, talk with Linda and find out what everything is to offer, and maybe you can go over and try some of their cuisine over there. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on because after I turn 50, I can't see. So I gotta look at this. The shuttle times, someone asked the question about the shuttle times. The shuttle times for breakfast are 7:50 a.m. to 9 a.m. Lunch is from 11:30 to 1, and supper is from 4:30 to 7. So those are the peak times, and we will be running a bus exclusively for that during that time. If you have needs other than that, other times that you want to come over or something like that to, say, go to Guilford to do something, just call 2559, which is a security number, and we will meet you at the pickup point. Right now, the pickup points for everything are the hub for lunch and dinner and breakfast and Woolman. Those are the only two stops we make during that time. Had someone speak to me a while ago about the doors being locked down now. It is badge access only, or you have to be ringing the video doorbell or calling from a phone. I will tell you that I walk when I talk, I'm sorry. Everywhere that we have a door that comes into the community that has a phone in it right now, those phones will be going away, and a video two-way doorbell will be going in there where you can communicate directly by just pushing the button with our security department, which can control those doors remotely. We can control any door on the campus, West or Guilford, from one place. Okay? So we'll pause right there, and I've got a couple more things we'll go over. Well, let me go over one other thing for you. Vigil system. How many people's using it already? Okay, well, let's talk about Vigil for a moment. Does everybody understand how to check in during the day on your Vigil system? Okay, we're having several people who really don't understand exactly how to do it. So I'm gonna go over a quick brief overview of what you need to do every morning. Can you hear me okay? Okay, every morning, and that is on the box itself, you have a little blue button that says check in. Make sure you push that every morning to let everybody know you are. It's just like when you used to do your magnets. This is the same thing as that, push that blue button. We've had several people that are not getting used to it, but eventually everybody will get used to it, but try to use it every day, because if you don't, we're gonna come check on you, okay? So that's pretty much the things I wanted to go over with you. I don't know of any issues we're having, so if you have any issues or anything, you can bring them up this time. And I see I have my first customer. Yes, ma'am. Here. There you go. Now everybody can hear you.
When you push the button, if you don't push the button, what is going to happen?
You will, when the check-in, we have a printout of the people who did not check in, did not push their button, and that runs at 12:45, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. But then we will start doing checks on those people. We will come to your apartment. We'll check on you to make sure that you're okay.
All right. I did not push the button by accident, and no one came. There was no check-in. Then the next 3 days,
Mhm.
I decided I will not push the button and
Mhm.
see what happens, and nothing happened.
Well, it sounds like your system may not be working properly, so you need to let Linda know that, and so she can get maintenance on that and make sure that it's working properly.
When somebody,
So, it's so loud.
I tell you what, why don't you cut, well, you can't, never mind. Let me repeat the question so you hear. She said that she did not push her check-in button and nothing happened for 4 days total. And so, that's where we are right now.
when you have, when somebody comes to check on us,
Mhm.
suppose we're not there, how do we know that they have come?
They will be dropping off a sheet in there. We're actually developing it at this time. I had this question, Monday from a resident, made perfect sense. We are putting together a sheet that says we'll lay it on a prominent area in the apartment and say we were here to check on it.
Another question.
Yeah,
I've noticed that in 2-bedroom apartments, there is only one hook cord.
okay.
But I know many people have people using both bedrooms
Mhm.
as
Sleeping areas. Mhm.
and they do not have emergency cords.
Mhm.
It seems that would be a good idea.
That is something for Friends Homes to decide. I don't have any control over that, so you would need to talk to Matt or Linda about that. But, do I disagree or disagree with you? No. I think everywhere that we need to have one, I really feel like they've researched it well and they've done what they wanted to do. So if you want an extra one or you want something, you need to talk to Matt or Linda on that.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
So suppose you push the check-in button and then you collapse.
Mhm.
Nobody is going to find you for 24 hours.
Unless you pull the cord, that's correct.
That's right. Would it not be a good idea to have check-ins every 12 hours rather than every 24 hours, which would reduce the amount of time somebody might be lying there waiting for somebody to check in?
Industry standard is 24 hours, and that's what we do, that's what everybody does. You can talk, again, and I'm not trying to push the question off, but that's out of my realm of control. That's something that you need to talk with Matt and Linda about and get the ball rolling on that. But industry standard is 24 hours. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, I think I saw your hand. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. You just mentioned about the phones at every entrance.
The ones that have phones at it, they're not in every entrance.
Correct.
You have a video doorbell at most entrances.
Right, they're not at every entrance.
No.
How many phones are at how many phones are there at
At this
entrances?
time, there's only 3 doors that I know of that do not have the Ring doorbell capability, which is the video doorbell, and those are the ones that have the phones. If it has a doorbell with a camera, it will not have a phone.
Okay, and what doorways are those?
Woman, here at this entrance, and don't quote me, but I wanna say it's Hobbs, it does not have the other.
Okay, all right, but, yeah,
I thought
yeah,
y'all, I thought y'all said I had a big mouth, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
need to, everyone back here needs to be able to hear you as well.
Okay,
So Woolman, Hobbs, and here we have one.
right, well, yeah.
Okay, perhaps it would be a good idea, because we're west, to let us know specifically we have specific questions about west. If you could just let us know what we need to know about west, that would be helpful.
Actually, we cover the entire campus. It is one campus.
Yes, I understand that, but physically, this is the
We'll
west campus.
We'll answer questions as it pertains to security, and if it has Guilford in it, we will answer it at that time. So, but I will be specific. If you ask specific questions, I'll answer specific. But
Okay.
you asked which ones didn't have it, so.
Right, and in your presentation that there are 3 phones here,
To my knowledge, yes, ma'am.
right, but they're not. There's 1 phone here
No,
at
ma'am.
the entrance.
Okay, we're not gonna debate between Guilford. I'm
Well,
telling
I
you as
think
the system
for
works.
clarity for everyone here, you need to be pretty clear.
But if you're going to the West Campus and visiting, you also need to know where those phones are.
People here, we're not gonna debate that here,
Okay,
but
thank
people
you.
here have
Okay, is there
badges
another
and they
question?
can get in.
Is there another question?
Not yet, but there
Okay.
might be.
All right, thank you. I seen somebody's hand over here a while ago. Yes, sir.
Oh boy. Dan, can you wait till I get the microphone so everybody can hear you?
My wife and I walk every morning about 6:30. We walk the entire building except the ground floor. About a month ago, my wife and I found a resident with medical issues from another hall sleeping at the 1000 entrance in their pajamas.
Mhm.
Obviously, we were concerned. We woke the individual who was disoriented, didn't quite know where they were. We walked them very slowly back to their apartment, woke their spouse who did not know that they were missing, and we felt that this person had been there for a while since they had been sleeping. Well, obviously we don't know how long.
Right.
Later on that morning, we talked to security about this situation. They did not seem to be aware of what entrance we were talking about. As much as we tried to explain the 1000 entrance, they seemed to be more concerned that it was the 2000 entrance. Didn't seem to know where we were talking about. There is a camera there. My question to them was, why was this not noticed? If people are watching these cameras, why was this not noticed? We were told, as we are told a lot of times, we can't discuss that with you because it violates HIPAA.
Okay, thank you. All right, next.
You're not going to address it?
No, you made a statement. You didn't have a question. Do you have a
The question
question
is,
about
why
it?
was that not seen? Why was that not noticed? If you
Well, I
people
will
watching
tell
cameras?
you that you do have cameras throughout your building, but there is not someone who sits there and stares at the camera 24/7. Okay? When we notice something and when we see something or we have an occurrence, we go back and we look at that camera and we see what happened. But you don't have someone who sits in that room and does nothing but stare at that camera 24/7.
That isn't the way it looks over here.
Ma'am?
That isn't the way it looks here at West, because you knock on that door,
Mm-hmm.
and there's someone sitting there, and the cameras are all there.
Mm-hmm. And that person also has other that person is also doing other duties, answering phones, emails, things of that nature. Again, they're not sitting there staring at the camera 24/7. Sir, I believe you have a question.
What is the difference between call and assist? In my small bedroom, one of the buttons is call and one says assist. What is the difference?
You can take it down if you want to walk away.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
To be honest with you, sir, that system was put in by Friends Homes, and I did not know the workings of it like that. You need to get with Linda again. That is something that falls under the Friends Homes umbrella. We just monitor it and respond to it. I don't know the workings of it, other than the check-in. Okay, Matt says he knows what it is. Matt's gonna answer.
Please use the microphone.
Sorry, I had a quick phone call touch base with a training that we're doing. There's really no difference because that system, and we went into this, and I'm going to put out I put out a letter about the vigil system, but both of those, call or assist, will go to the security office. That system is a little bit different than what we're used to, where it's a check-in and an emergency. So short answer is there's no difference. They both go to where you would need them to go. Long answer, I'll get something in writing for everybody because I know there's been a lot of questions about that. The different boxes and the different buttons on the boxes.
Did that help you, sir?
It will.
Okay.
Help might be a strong word.
Okay.
Next
What?
question. We still have 15 more minutes.
Yeah, what else? I think I seen a hand over here.
Is there a reason the lights are on at the wellness center at night when it's not operational?
My understanding is the wellness center, go ahead, Matt. Matt wants to answer this one.
Inside or courtyard?
Both.
Well, they're on inside, but they shine right in the court.
Okay.
So part of that answer is code, because it's accessible 24/7. So if somebody were to be walking on the walking track, they would have to be able. We have to have a certain.
Oh, I
Yeah.
understand the courtyard lights, but the wellness center.
Right. That's It's the same. That is accessible. It's not. We have hours like the pool hours, but those card readers are accessible 24/7. And in an emergency situation, the gym is 24 hours. Thank you, Kayla. So if somebody's in there, they need to be able to work out. I'm guessing that you're from the 1,000, from the corner of 1,000. We'll take a look at that. But that's why. The gym's 24/7. The wellness center, even though the hub's closed at 7, the pool has hours, it's accessible 24/7. That lounge is a 24/7 lounge.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
One evening, we had a resident on our hall knock on our door because she was locked out of her apartment. We called down security, no answer. We called the front desk, no answer. Again called security, no answer. What happened? What are we supposed to do when we can't get in an apartment and we can't get any help from security?
Okay, well, let me address the phone situation with you. Numerous times in the past few weeks, we have had phone system issues throughout Friends' homes. We're not sure what's going on with it. Your Friends' home's, not construction unit, but maintenance is working on it. Also, we have discovered since we have been over here that when you call the 2559 number, it will actually roll to another number sometimes. We don't know why. And again, your maintenance team is trying to figure out why it's doing that. And we don't even know where it's rolling to, and they can't tell us why. But they're working on it this time. We have identified that issue and know that there is an issue with it. So that, unfortunately, that's something that I don't think even Friends Homes can figure out right now. I think they're gonna have to get a third party in to work on that. Yes, sir, welcome.
I have a question for you that I've been debating for 5 years and I haven't found the answer to it.
Oh boy.
Well, I ain't gonna guarantee you I'm gonna find it, but I'll try.
Let's take a crack at it.
All right?
Let's say it's Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock and we have an emergency that comes up and we can't get in touch with anyone down here. There's no one at the office, no one that answers the phone. What do I do? Are
Okay.
you responsible for that?
What type of emergency are you referring to?
Well,
sir?
it's just these things. If somebody falls in the floor, we have to have EMS, we have to call security first, then we get an ambulance out here, whatever. That's what I've been told. We get in touch with them before we call the EMS.
That's correct. You can call us first, but if you have your cell phone with you and you've got somebody down, I got no problem you calling 911. The faster I get somebody here for you, the better off it is. I don't care who makes a phone call.
Well, who's on the desk here?
Who's on the desk when?
On Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Saturday, 3 o'clock, Friends Home staff covers the front desk at that time.
No. I'm asking you, are you responsible for that?
No, sir.
What? Well, I'm talking about the desk outside.
Where Rose sits?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do not cover that. Us in security do not cover that.
So you're present here somewhere?
Yes, sir. We're actually in the control room, which is fairly close to Rose's desk, and the 2559 number rings in there. And that's one of the things that we need to make sure that we're working with our residents on is not to call Rose's desk for an emergency. Rose is not the emergency. 2559 is your emergency. That's your control center for your security.
And there's someone in there 24 hours a day?
Yes, sir, there is. Even when someone goes to the restroom, somebody fills in while they're going to the restroom.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
365 and a quarter days a year.
2559?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If that doesn't respond, what do I do then? Because I'm saying that it's happened to me, and that I'm just,
Well, did you hear the answer I just gave this young lady over here a moment ago about
I
your
did
phone
not
system?
hear your answer.
Okay, the phone system, we're having issues with it. Friends Homes is working on it. It's out of my control. And they're tracing, trying to figure out where their phones actually roll to when that number is called. We have identified that at times that phone will roll to a different number if it's in use, and nobody seems to know where it's going. So I think the gentleman's name's Paul, who's working on that at this time.
Well, I feel more comfortable by you telling me we're gonna have someone in that control desk and whatever, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Yes,
rain,
sir.
shine, snow.
Yes, sir. And if they don't make it here, my rear end will be here.
Do what now?
I said, if they don't make it here, I'll be here. Because of snow or rain or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, foul weather, I'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that clears it up for me, and I appreciate the answer.
Wow, after 5 years,
I
I'll
hope
make you an
I
answer.
don't have to call it, but I'm just hoping that if I do, you're there.
And remember your pull cord also. It rings in there also. If you pull your pull cord, that's where your response will come from also. Okay, any other questions? Young lady in the very back. Let her get the microphone over to you.
If no one is monitoring the security cameras, what is the purpose of having them?
The security cameras are there for your safety and your protection. It doesn't mean that somebody's gonna sit there and stare at it all the time. We are in that room. If something catches the attention or an alarm goes off, we're gonna focus in on that camera. If something happens and we don't see it, we have the ability to go back for a certain amount of time to be able to see what happened and identify the problem and or security risk.
Well, if a resident is lying in a view of the camera, is anyone monitoring them at any time during the day? How often?
Yes, ma'am. The camera system is actually in the room where we were just talking about the 2559 number is. Someone is in a room with the camera system 24/7. But are they sitting there staring at that camera 24/7? No, they're not.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. Wait a minute. Matt wants to say something.
I think it might help to clarify what that person is doing.
Okay.
Besides just, they're there. And
Yeah.
I think that what I'm hearing is, well, why aren't they looking at the camera? So I think it would be beneficial to share
Okay.
other duties that they're doing.
Well, one of the things they do is they make your badges, they handle all incoming emails for public safety, they handle all incoming phone calls, not only for public safety, but for outside lines. It's also a switchboard in there for people calling from outside lines. They handle any duties that need to be done as far as security goes, documentation, things of that nature. So they're busy 24/7 doing everything in there, but that's just one of their duties is monitoring the camera. Yes, ma'am.
Penny's had her hand up for a little bit, so I'm gonna let.
Okay.
And then Naomi, I'll get right with you, okay?
A few weeks ago, when we had Vespers here, we have it every Sunday night. And a few weeks ago, we had a couple that came. There was absolutely no one to let them in. It was very embarrassing. No one ever came from security. The people did not know, they didn't have a badge, they did not realize that they could call somebody. The people that were here, they could not go down at the time that they thought they needed to be there to let them in, but security was not available, and I know that for a fact. So somebody's not telling the truth about all things here. And another thing is, when I moved here, September the 1st will be 7 years that I've been here, and my husband was here with me until last September the 2nd. And when we moved here because we wanted to be at West. We're sick and tired of them trying to make us one campus over here. If we'd wanted to go to Guilford, we would have been at Guilford, and that's not fair to continue talking about. You already talked about 3 things in the cameras, and 2 of them being over at Guilford, at Hobbs and Woolman or someplace, and another one here. That's not fair to us at West.
Okay, let me just address the question about Vespers. Thank you for your opinion. Vespers, when you have someone coming in, there is signage at every door on how to access. And if they push the doorbell, if it has a doorbell there, it's a camera to recognize. If they have a badge, they can come in. I'm assuming these were residents or non-residents. Non-residents, then they can push the button to come in or call from the phone. There's signage at the door. If you'll go up here and look when we leave, you'll see there's a sign there that tells you how to make entry and the number to call, and there's a phone available right there.
To throw in real quick about the signage, two things. We are getting a doorbell camera, which will eliminate the need to pick up a phone and call somebody. You just ring the doorbell. The second, we are in the process this morning, that's where I came from. We were looking to make some adjustments to the front entrance. A new rug, some signage that indicates how to get in, because we've heard that feedback from several people that when I get here, I don't know how to get in. The signage is there. It should be more prominent. So we're making those adjustments. And then as far as the one campus goes, that's where we're at with transportations for both, maintenance. We're moving to a one campus structure, and that doesn't mean that anything's going away. It just means that the same great systems are going to be in place for the whole campus, for the new additions and any future additions to come.
Okay, Naomi, I'm coming.
She's coming right behind.
I'm right here, man.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that the timeline for the shuttle is of interest to everybody, and everybody isn't here. And actually, I didn't know this schedule until maybe yesterday. I think a lot of people would really appreciate posting the shuttle schedule somewhere, not just on CareMerge, but maybe on the bulletin boards, so people know where the pickup point is and when are the prime times.
I think that's a great idea. The more people have the knowledge, more riders we may get. Linda, is that something that you have already posted that you might could tell us where they are, so you haven't posted it yet?
We're going to get it posted, and I'm going to bring copies and bring to the chat. I'm going to have a lot of handouts for this next challenge.
Okay.
Several.
Okay, sounds like Matt's got that under control now. So I believe the young lady right back here.
In the handout, I would just like to request that the phones at the entrance and that process is also explained so that everyone will see it.
Absolutely, and also I think if I can request Matt to do this, once we get the doorbell cameras in at these entrances, we need to send out a new communication because it will be a totally different way to enter when those phones go away. So if we could do that.
When is all that happening?
They have been ordered at this time, and we're waiting for the company that puts them in to get them in from their supplier. They're telling us within the next 90 days we should have them. Yeah, good luck on getting things through supply chain.
One of the things that has been a problem is the security doesn't know how we deal with the doors. In other words, I complained that the 4,000 door had not locked for 3 days. I had complained every day and nothing was done. Unfortunately, it was over the weekend. I mentioned that on Monday to the security. He went to the Crosswell and walked out the door and came back in and said, "The door is working perfectly." And I said, "Well, I'm so glad, but that isn't the 4,000 door." That is the problem. So many people are coming in from elsewhere in the security, and they really don't know the designations of the doors. We call them 4,000, 2,000, 3, 1, 5, that kind of thing. And they obviously are not tuned in to which door is where. Although I had said the post office is there, the elevator is there, and none of that was at the cross thing.
Sounds like we have a training issue there. It sounds like we need to address it. So I will address that with the interim supervisor here, Johnny, and we will look at what's going on with the training and make sure that that's done properly. I do agree with you, that is not acceptable.
think we have time for
One
one
more.
more question. Make it count.
Would you please
Oh,
address
I know he will.
Just quick, would you please address some of the questions that several of us got together and I gave you a list?
Oh, boy.
I will address one of them on here. We have time for one more question. Let me see which one we can address. There's some that we can't answer. Okay. Okay, when residents knock on the security door, it takes several loud attempts to finally get someone to answer the door. Why the delay? Well, if they're on a phone and they're talking with another resident, they're going to finish that conversation at the time. If they're in the midst of an emergency call, they're going to finish that before they answer. And the other one is not really a valid excuse, but it happens. It happened. The air condition went down in that room 6 weeks ago, I think it was, and they put a portable unit in, and I couldn't hear myself talking standing in front of somebody. So we relocated the phone to another place for that to be able to be heard at this time until that's done. And I'm thinking that's going to be finished this week is my understanding. But it is, if they're going to finish a conversation on the phone if it's an emergency before they answer that door. I thank y'all for your time. Yes, ma'am.
I have one more quick question.
Okay.
You mentioned that public safety answers emails. Can you tell us what that email address is, please?
I will have Matt put it in the chats in his handout because quite frankly, I email my supervisor by his own personal email. I don't send anything to that, so I don't want to quote it to you wrong. We'll make sure that it goes into the handout that Matt gives you.
And just we will get it out in writing, but it's just public safety at friendshomes.org.
Publicsafety@friendshomes.org.
Okay.
You email Rose that Friends Homes
Reception.
email, and that will go to whoever's sitting at that computer at that time. It's the same.
All right. Thank y'all very much. Yes, sir.
I've got one quick one for you.
Is this one 5 years old too?
What is your responsibility, or do you have responsibility to assist in someone falling in a room and the nurse comes up there and the security comes up there? Do you have any responsibility for helping get that patient up?
We are a no-lift facility.
What now?
We are a no-lift facility.
No risk facility.
So
okay.
what that means is if the person can get up on their own with assistance, without uplifting, we will assist, as long as the nurse is there to direct. But if the person cannot assist in standing on their own, then we will call EMS. Okay. Thank y'all. I appreciate your time today. Y'all have a blessed day. Yes, ma'am. There is in some hallways, not all hallways, but some. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a nice day. Sounds good. Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay. Well, I'm gonna answer in 2 ways. Okay. We have 54 people on security staff. They are assigned to different locations, and they're assigned to different places. They're not all here at Friends Homes. Well, that's just it. I did not answer that question for safety reasons. I don't want anybody to know how many people I have on staff here. No matter. Because let me explain to you why. Okay. Say you're talking to one of your friends at a restaurant. You say we have 7 people who do security here and they do rounds at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, that type of thing. Somebody hears you and says, oh, we know she lives at Friends Homes. I understand. I'm not saying you want it, but other people do. That's the reason we don't disclose our manpower, we don't disclose our routes, and we don't disclose our routines. Yes, ma'am, you do security. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm gonna say hypothetical. When the judge, you have multiple people, like the way you do it, gives you actually more people here at any time, because the West and West can cover each other. So, in other words, number A might be West starting out, but then he'll go to Guilford, B will come over to A, get fresh set of eyes going. So you don't have somebody that's just stationed West. They're